One of my favorite things to do in video games is to pay attention to the really little details, ones that are often missed when you're not paying specific attention to them. Things like idle poses, NPC behavior, easily missable features, and even mistakes. Melee, being one of my favorite games of all time, has a lot of things like this, and I always found it fun to slowly analyze the game that is so otherwise fast-paced. It's been a little while since I uploaded, so I wanted to come back with a little passion project. I may split this video into a few parts so that each character can be discussed thoroughly without making the video too long, so hopefully you find it as enjoyable to watch as I did to make. I think it makes the most sense to do all the characters in order of their appearance on the character select screen, so this video will start with Dr. Mario, and following videos will feature the rest of the cast where we leave off. And since all characters on the ends of each row are clones of the adjacent ones, some facts about certain characters will be true of their counterparts as well, and I'll be sure to mention that as we go. First is Dr. Mario, and wow, is there a lot to talk about. A lot of accessories in the game have their own physics to make them more believable as an article of clothing or whatever they are. I found that Doc's stethoscope, however, doesn't have those physics, and it's more of a stiff element on his model. Compare this with his appearance in Smash Ultimate. It's behaving as expected. It moves around when he moves around. I wanted to chalk this up to hardware restrictions at first, because you know the GameCube's really old, but a lot of the other characters have moving parts that are purely cosmetic, so it's definitely a Doc exclusive thing. For anyone who doesn't know the difference between Mario and Dr. Mario, it's easy to think of them as being opposites, easily seen in how their attacks have opposite properties of the others, probably due to their drastically different professions. Mario's up smash sends up, but Dr. Mario's spikes opponents on the ground. Mario's down tilt pops opponents up, and Doc's pulls them backward. Mario's forward air is a meteor, Doc sends upwards, and perhaps the most interesting one, Doc's neutral air gets stronger the longer it's out, while Mario's gets weaker, like everyone else's. A lot of clones were handled in similar ways, but it's more interesting to think of it as Doc being the better character because he studied harder on how to be viable while getting his MD. Seeing as he's only one of two clones better than their source character, and this one doesn't really convince me. The final and most interesting piece about Doc is his pills. There's 3 different colors that can be applied to the pills, but each of those colors can be combined with any of the others. And since he's using hard-shelled pills with a transparent body and opaque cap, this makes for 9 different color combinations. These color combinations are also exhibited in his taunt, which technically gives him 9 different taunts, the most taunts in the game, but it doesn't end there because Doc also has a victory screen involving pills. In it, he throws 2 off screen and poses with 2 more. According to the wiki and to my own experience, the 2 pills that are spawned after the initial 2 are always the same as the first 2, and the second pill can never be the same color as the first, at least when I tested it. So with that in mind, there's a total of 72 different animations for the victory screen, bringing Doc's total amount of victory screens to 74 when including the other 2. And now I'm not above admitting that math is not my strong suit, so if anyone out there can prove me wrong, please do so. Now for real Mario. I don't have nearly as much for him as I do for Doc. And mostly everyone knows about the hidden mechanic that allows him to wall jump after his up B. I don't actually know if it's a hidden mechanic or if it's a mistake, but nevertheless, it's part of his character and it makes sense, he's Mario. Instead of that, I'll talk about his cape. His cape has a weird wind box sort of effect, in that using it will show that certain parts of characters are programmed to react to wind, despite wind boxes not really being a thing in the same sense as they are in later games. It affects some hair textures, clothing items, and accessories. One of these is DK's tie, and when moving his tie, the hitbox stays put. Yes, he has a tie hitbox, but this indicates that the tie hitbox is actually anchored to DK's body rather than the tie itself. Some other small things about Mario are that his head is not fully modeled under his hat, and the buttons on his overalls are actually reflective, or at least they're designed to look reflective. I don't know how it works specifically in video games, but I didn't expect that from a game created in 2001. And for the last of the Mario Bros, the most prominent thing I noticed about Luigi is that his fist is enlarged during the most final hit of his dash attack. If you didn't know, his dash attack is missing a hitbox on the last hit, so it's a pretty useless move. But because of the enlarged fist, it kind of indicates that a hitbox should have been attached to the animation. Which is why it's so hard for me to believe that it was an accident by the developers when they went out of their way to animate this part of the attack in the first place. My favorite thing about Bowser has always been his little angry eyes peeking out of his shell during up B. He's so scary at every other moment, but this always looked kind of funny to me. But despite how bad he is in competitive play, a lot of care went into his character and his animations, likely because he was the most popular choice for a Smash newcomer at the time. His run being this weird skidding motion along the ground never really made sense, but it's cool. The screen shakes when he lands on stage from any height, and his back air has a short little helpless animation, as if he's just a regular turtle stuck upside down. down in his shell. They also gave a new, unique animation to each character when being hit by his down throw, and although the adult implications ruin my impression of the move, it's really cool to see that every character has their own version of a terrified younger brother defense tactic in response. The last thing about Bowser is something I noticed while ignoring my game for a while. His idle animations make different noises from each other. I didn't know that he actually has two because they look really similar, but sometimes the roar sounds similar to his taunt, and sometimes it's just a little dragon breath sound. Here, listen. Peach is a fun character to play around with because of all the little tools she has hidden in the bottomless pockets of her dress. She's got her frying pan, her golf club, and her tennis racket. My favorite of these, however, is the low-poly toad that she rips out just to cough up tear gas and put back away. It's so unfortunate that this game didn't come out a single year later for Toad's sake, because this was the only version of him that existed until Mario Party 4 released in 2002, and he stopped looking like a D20. One thing that a lot of players miss is the fact that her forward air is not a slap or a punch. It's actually her crown. She takes her crown off her head and just bonks you with it. One thing I can't help but see incorrectly, though, is her up air. I don't know why. It's only one kick, but my eyes see it as more than one for some reason. I don't know if that's just me, but it's kind of similar to Palutena's down air. It's a kick, it's not her staff. Yoshi is a difficult character for me to objectively discuss because I hate Yoshi in Smash. I think it's unpopular to hate Yoshi, but it's not unpopular to hate Smash Bros. Yoshi. I think it's Melee Yoshi in particular, though, because he's just overly dinosaur-esque in this game. He's like hunched over too much, or it's his little T-Rex arms, or his dark green color, or his creepy eyelids, or this. Okay, maybe it's all of that. One thing I do find to be kind of funny is his little fashionista walk with his hands out flat like that. That, coupled with the unique sound effect of his footsteps, make for a pretty funny walk sequence. And I think that might be it for now. I just kind of wanted to get something out here, and I'm going to continue this in the future. I just moved, I got a whole bunch of new equipment. I'm really excited to start making content again. Hopefully this was enjoyable. For the next one, I'm gonna start with Donkey Kong and work my way down the list from there. And if I forgot anything, if there's anything you liked in the game with these characters, feel free to let me know in the comments. And yeah, bye.
Mania!